testing a bottled water, the influence of a bottled water on any aspect of human performance is something that I've never done before. So it brought out the possibility of me learning something new.
Akali Water comes off the Glacier Waters in Washington. It contains a number of minerals that are conducive to rehydration and things and properties that we see with rehydration.
The purpose of the study was to determine whether consuming the Akali water could rehydrate people faster following a dehydrating bout of cycling when compared with plain water. Aquafina was a perfect control water to test because they market themselves as being the purest water on the planet. My first response, and this is my response to almost everything like this, is to be somewhat skeptical. Not a disbelieving skeptical, but I think it's more the scientist in me thinking that, all right, I gotta prove this first, or someone's gotta prove this to me. I'm not gonna just take their word for it. Within our study, we brought cyclists into the lab for 3 different visits.
First visit that all subjects underwent a physical test. And for this test, they did a VO2 max, or maximal oxygen uptake test.
This was to establish their maximum capacity to consume oxygen, as well as establish some target heart rate ranges that we were going to use during the next 2 visits.
When they came in for the experimental trials, they took approximately an hour and a half to dehydrate in the heat.
And what they did is they showed up to the lab. We set their bike up in a room that had purposefully been heated to about 84 degrees Fahrenheit and high in humidity, higher than 50%, with the goal of sweating as much as possible. So they sweat themselves to lose 2.5% of their body weight. Then they come back into our lab and they drink either the Akali water or the Aquafina water in an amount that's equal to what they just lost.
Then they sat for 3 hours and we monitored blood, urine, and body weight changes over the 3-hour time period.
And the whole goal here, what we wanted to do was watch how fast would their body absorb either the Akali water or the Aquafina water during that 3-hour time period.
The results in the end showed a very strong trend, a difference actually in Akali water over Aquafina for rehydration.
The Akali water allowed the cyclists to hold on to that water that they drank after dehydrating themselves much, much better than the Aquafina water. So following 3 hours after dehydrating yourself, drinking plain water, you can hope to regain about 55 to 65% of that water you dehydrated. In this case, the Aquafina water, cyclists rehydrated themselves 62%. The Akali water rehydrated cyclists to 79%. So nearly 80% of their body weight lost in water was regained in 3 hours. That's a huge difference. That was probably the single most important finding from the study.
When I was introduced to the Akali, I remember in the first bottle that I drank, my body was telling me subconsciously, drink more, drink more, drink more. Like there was something in it that I needed. And at this point in my career, I listened to things like that.
The Alka-Plex in the Akali product is a really good neutralizer. It's really good for hydration, and it's all the things we need because a lot of the things we do are endurance, long-term races, things that go on for 5 or 6 days, staged races and things like that. So really what we need is a lot of endurance.
We know now that it's not just about drinking water or drinking fluid. We've seen in recent years in competition, people who drink water, finish a race bloated. So what I'm finding with Akali is that because of the composition with the minerals, with the fact that it's pure water, electrolyte, the body recognizes as, I can absorb this, I can use this. And we feel this. And it's been absolutely amazing.
One of the things that I noticed right away is that I'm not sore anymore. And even after, for example, training for the race that Florence and I just did called the Race Across the West, which is a 1,000-mile road bike race from Oceanside to Taos, New Mexico.
We understood even before we started the event, talking to people who had, how key hydration would be. And indeed, we saw people drop like flies.
Half of the field in that race did not finish from dehydration. Half. And we were not only the top 2 female team, we set a 2 female record for the course, and we were 4th overall out of every team there as 2 women. Everybody in that race suffered some dehydration issues. Almost everybody, except us. And, again, I'm not a scientist, I just know my body. And I know that, I just know at a deep level that what we were drinking was the right stuff.
Yeah, the real take-home message from this study for us as researchers was that the Akali water is definitely rehydrating people faster and more completely when they're dehydrated following exercise. Everybody ends up dehydrated to some level. Being able to completely rehydrate yourself more completely and in a faster manner is going to allow absolutely anybody to function better on a daily basis.